So I think that we're here on a very important issue. I'm hearing from not only my constituents, but across the city, relating to the fact that there are commercial rents that are driving small businesses out of their places of business at an incredible rate. I just came from meeting with a council member who represents Lower Manhattan, who told me that downtown on 8th Avenue, 18 businesses over the last decade have been forced to leave. Those are the shoemakers, the small coffee shop, businesses that are intrinsic to the culture and vibrancy of particular communities. So New York City small businesses are our most important job creators. They provide the goods and services communities rely on and the flavors that make our neighborhoods unique. As chair of the Council's Committee on Small Business, I feel blessed to be a voice for New York City small businesses and to have spoken with so many small business owners around the city over the past year. Many of the stories I've heard about small business successes, but I've also heard numerous cries, way too numerous cries for help. In particular from small business tenants experiencing unfair treatment from their landlords. If you're a salon owner, you depend on water being on, obviously. If you run a business on an upper floor, you need elevators to get customers in and out. When landlord disrupts essential services, these businesses suffer. And that means their customers and employees also suffer. Now, sometimes there may be legitimate reasons for service interruptions, but small business tenants believe that some landlords are actually creating condition problems to pressure them to give up the spaces they've invested, and even when they still have a lease. What we see is a very robust city initiatives around residential tenant protections, and we'd like to see the same thing for commercial tenants. It's a shame, and we have to do something about it right now. Besides interrupting of services, there's a real imbalance of power around lease agreements. The law assumes that landlords and small business tenants have equal bargaining power. But in reality, very few mom and pops have the assistance of a lawyer in reviewing leases and other contracts. They don't know how to fight back when a landlord demands an outrageous under-the-table payment to enter into a lease. And believe it or not, that's happened more frequently than I'd like to know. They don't know who to turn to after they borrow money to make their payment. And the landlord still refuses to turn over the lease, leaving them unable to connect utilities. These are instances that I've actually heard from actual business owners. This is not an anecdote, this is actually factual. For these struggling small businesses, walking away is not an answer. They're fighting to stay. They want to keep paying their fair rents, providing jobs and making a living. And we shouldn't allow unfairness on the part of landlords to make that impossible. I'm here to tell these small business owners pursuing their dreams in corner stores and on commercial strips across the boroughs, you're not alone. I'm a preacher's kid, and one thing I always heard in church was what's done in the darkness will be brought to the light. It's time to shine some light on the real estate struggles of New York City's small business tenants. I'm appealing to New York City small business owners to share your stories with me. Continue to share them. If you're a business owner who's being taken advantage of or harassed by a landlord, please tell me about it. If you're a New Yorker who knows that local store you love is being taken advantage of and may be forced out, I want to hear from you now. I have some ideas about how to help businesses, and I'm exploring others, but I know I don't have all the answers. Some business assistance providers and my fellow elected officials have focused on these issues before, and I plan to learn all I can from them. But I also want to hear from the public. So please email me at cornegysmallbiz@gmail.com or call my district office. We'd like to make sure also that if there are landlords and developers who've received subsidy from the city to build, that they're held accountable in conducting fair leases with commercial tenants across the city. In return for your help and support on getting stories, I pledge to work on a set of solutions to give the small businesses rely on the support that they need. As I've talked to my colleagues in government, they are equally as appalled. I just spoke to Councilmember Corey Johnson. who is appalled that in his district, the rate of closure for small businesses is at an all-time high, who complain that the culture and the integrity of the district that he served is being eroded and big box stores are being brought in. So any tax incentives that are being taken advantage of by landlords or developers, we plan to investigate that immediately. That's one of the steps and one of the tools in the toolbox to make it fair and equitable. You know, there's a slogan that says the state of New York is open for business. We want to make sure that that's absolutely true for all of our small mom and pop downstate businesses here in the city. So I thank you for coming out. I thank you for listening to me. And I look forward to partnering with the city of New York and its small businesses to get this ship righted immediately. Thank you.